Hello, welcome to the Well for the week of October 16th. Maria from Bloom, Angela from Grounded Dreamers. So as usual, let's pause at the beginning. Take a breath in. Just take a moment to use your breath to nourish your whole body, mind, body, spirit. Get grounded. Imagine your breath supporting, growing roots down into the earth, rooting and anchoring. Take a moment to think about how you're doing with the challenge, the October challenge of opening your mind, and also something that you're grateful for. I am grateful for, and just anchor that gratitude, that vibration of gratitude as we go into our beautiful reading this week.
Right. So we open with with this card called All the Willows Know Your Name. I love it. I just love it. I love the artistry and how these are kind of whimsical. This is that energy of being seen and accepted for who you are and appreciated and respected. And the more you can acknowledge those areas in your life where that is happening, where there is a clarity and a full acceptance of your full transparent self, that is where we begin to make true connection, right? That's when we can, really feel buoyed by the support of others. And where you don't feel that is probably kind of not to be paid attention to right now. Like where you aren't receiving that connection and that warmth and that open acceptance, why dwell on that, right? Move toward where the light is, where you're in the sunlight and you're feeling the warmth of others being there for you. When you shine, when you really shine, that's coming from the truest part of who you are, right? The truest part of your being. And when that radiance lands on someone else and they engage with it and love it, that's the connection that we're seeking. That's what we're all seeking, really, connection. Is acceptance and the feeling that we belong. But if you're focusing on the areas where that's not very smooth and easy and clear, maybe give that a rest for a little bit while you replenish your own rays, right? After that card where the willows know your name, it reminds me of Cheers, where everybody knows your name.
I know. I was
and in that bar, everyone was accepted. You had Norm and the male guy, I can't remember his name. And they had their quirks, but everyone was a family. They were fully accepted for who they are, and that's where the willows.
Across the street from where that bar actually is in Boston is the most beautiful collection of willow trees, actually. Yeah, in the Boston Garden. Yeah, there's so many beautiful willow trees. So it's cool that you just made that association, because I was thinking about the willow trees and in the Boston Garden. So I just wanted to bring that
wild.
in.
I didn't know that. That's crazy.
I know, right?
What a great connection there and alignment. So after that openness and really, this is really the beginning of our journey to kind of observe where that openness is, where that connection is, and where it does feel smooth and easy just to be your full self. After that, I pulled suppression. So we go right back down into the resistance. And
the suppression card has been coming through for the past few readings. I just made that connection right now as well. It's been coming in different
ways. Yes. Right. Like suppressing feelings, suppressing past traumas, and now it's suppressing your true self, right? Yeah. And even from yourself,
right?
Tucking away little aspects of yourself that
masking
that you've just, because maybe you weren't accepted for that at a time in your life, and you just thought, well, that's not going to work, and you hide it away. Well, what you find as you start to evolve and move through your spiritual journey is that it's kind of like the only way to be is exactly who I am, and with my totally unique thoughts and things to offer, that's the only way to be, because then, I mean, that's true freedom, right? Is just to be able to assert yourself and express yourself from the core of who you are. Which brings me to my next card. Enjoy your extraordinary uniqueness. Enjoy it. Be in it. Pull up to someone and yeah, really, because that's where the love lives.
Right? That's where the love lives.
Yeah, it's in your full truest sense of your being. Then I pulled spirit of water. This is using your heartfelt, using your the deepest part of who you are as your expression. That's exactly what this is. And it could also indicate a necessary a need to cleanse some of your energy, to cleanse some things that are old and old judgments about yourself that really don't apply anymore, and that you can kind of wash those away so that you can be more fully in view and in that full presentation of who you are. Then I got the Lovers, and a lot of times when I pull this, I will refer to how the heart, love has a few levels, right? There's like that first chemical reaction, like that instant, what we call attribute to love. It's actually just human interaction, right? That makes us feel good, that makes us feel more alive. And then there is, a deeper sense of love for one another, and that full, like we're talking about here, that full acceptance of another. And then the highest form, I think, of love that our heart can practice is compassion. And that is for the collective, but most importantly, for self. That's where it begins. Self-compassion, self-awareness and love. And that just allows you to share and give and be and express from the heart. And then I pulled Flowing River, another water card. So we're talking about probably a lot of emotions that could be tied to some of this for some of us.
Yeah, and clearing the stagnation last week in the reading with the chakra reading that came through.
Oh yeah, we started with that.
With the complacency and the root, and then was it impasse actually? I think it was impasse or stuckness.
Yeah, a stuckness of where to express it, and it was impasse in our second chakra. And this is allowing for that flow. And the key is the gratitude and appreciation for your life as it is, and for who you are from within. Appreciation will always, if you engage in gratitude and appreciation, resistance has to drop. It has to, because you're taking the focus off of that resistant energy and focusing on the flow, right? And that's what this is indicating. Really go forward in gratitude. And then we mentioned in the group that this is, being with the flow of the universe. And then we mentioned a saying that this deck kind of indicates that it's a Native American saying. I haven't researched that, but I believe the author, because she is a native. And she says, it's best to ride the horse in the direction it's going, right? Could you imagine that imagery, right? The horse is moving, all the power, all the flow right there. And you're like, oh, no, I want to go this way. The universe is kind of the same thing. It's going here, when you express yourself fully and just be the full version of you without apology, not in a defiant or defensive or aggressive way, but just simply in your own beauty, the flow opens up. It has to, right? And so you get to move and gravitate toward more people that accept your being, the fullness of who you are, more people that respect you and appreciate you. You're increasing that flow in that way. And then all of this is indicating transformation, as we know, but remember, from the inside out, that's where it all begins. And then the final card in this group is rebirth. And that is, I mean, kind of obvious, but yeah, this is a common cycle that we go through in our lives. You know, it's the sense of evolving. You know, we learn a little about ourselves and experience this rebirth for a new phase. And then we get comfortable with it and we kind of settle into it. And then we're kind of more on that lower kind of camel 3D kind of a vibe for a little while. And then something else happens that it's like, oh no, you know, I gotta speak up about this. And then the lion shows up and then we come into a new phase of our evolving. And it's beautiful. We're right now, our key is be the fullest version, be transparent and honest in a loving way. I think that's the nature of this whole spread.
Yeah, let's be with this. And you brought in the metaphor of the lion, and it just reminded me of the lion being the symbol of courage, and how much courage it really takes to be that, to be an expression of ourselves. And honoring that courage, the compassion that it takes. So let's all just pause and be with that, just appreciating our system, our nervous system, and all it does to support us in our journey every day. Take a moment to just see what the reading is showing you about where you are in your journey right now. And bringing your attention to your second chakra, which is just a couple fingers below your navel. And as you inhale, using your breath to support flow. Releasing any blocks or barriers to flow as you exhale. Offering self-compassion to the parts of you that might feel like they want to hide or feel scared. And just take a moment to imagine that water is flowing through your whole system, cleansing and clearing, and allowing that light from within to shine, open up. And just allow your intention for this week to begin to percolate, to begin to emerge. Let it rise, land in the heart, and offer it up. And let's come towards the second half of the reading.
There's a lot of alignment here in what you just guided us through in the next set of cards. So those little parts of you that you want to hide away, even from yourself, that creates this energy of isolation. This is, you know, it's a mental energy that you can use to literally cut yourself off from, usually out of self-protection. I don't want to be judged. I don't want to be misunderstood, you know, whatever. Maybe they're not ready for me in all my glory and exactly who I am. But what that does is that severs you from connection. And another imagery of water is the tears coming from this figure, the letting the emotions flow and showing who you truly are. It doesn't have to necessarily be sadness, but it represents your emotions, and that is what melts the ice.
Release.
Right?
Yeah,
That's
release.
what opens up the connection again. So I love that. And then after that, I pulled intuition, using your inner wisdom that you've gained to this point in your life. You know, we're not going to always know it all, and we're always growing and evolving it, but what you've gathered to this point can help you, you know, proceed forward using your own inner being. That is maybe different from the way you've done it before. You know, a lot of times I lead with my intellect and my logic. It's really strong in me, and I lead with that, and I always forget, you know, I don't always forget, but I always find it necessary to balance that out by tapping into my soul and my intuition. They work together.
Yeah. I practice remembering.
Love it.
Yeah. Practice remembering. Yeah.
Instead of I forget.
Yeah, exactly.
And then I pulled, this is another alignment with what you said earlier about it sometimes taking some courage to show yourself. And that's what this says, your path. It says,
Mm.
have the courage to follow your own path.
Mm-hmm.
There's no one else that can travel it in the exact manner, with the exact pace, to the exact, depth or distance or width as you can. No one else. There may be people that are on the path with you for a while, but it's yours, right? They may converge with you and then split off. Your path is your path. Stay aligned with that. I just looked at how that full moon is like peaking. It's framed
By the antlers, right?
the antlers. Yeah. It's like, encompassed with it.
Being held, right, by those.
Being held. And then speaking of path, after that, I pulled the Fool, which is the beginning of a new path, right? Yeah. And moving toward it with eagerness. This is, maybe there's been, I don't know, you have a professional situation where you feel like you have to be a little more buttoned up and not fully expressive, and but maybe you've overestimated how much you need to suppress or how much you need to keep from, and maybe start to try to ease that a little bit, because that, I understand it. There's professional demeanor and there's our personal, selves, and a lot of times we want to, keep them a little bit separate. But now and then, right, I think it's okay to show your true colors. It doesn't have to be exploding onto everybody, but start to ease into having that, and maybe it's courage, confidence, a deep knowing that who I am in all the fullness, of my expression is me. My intentions are loving, and this is who I am. And maybe it doesn't always fit in the professional scenario, but you don't also have to keep it locked up so tight. Is I think what the point is. So maybe this new path is starting to explore some of that, letting facets of you kind of relax and show up. And then I pulled detach from drama. And, in a way,
always helpful to remember.
In a way, what I just said about holding back, that creates drama within your own energy.
Yeah, it does.
That creates this, like, I don't know, you got to keep track of what I'm going to say and who I'm going to show up to. And that's a little dramatic, right? Within you. And then imagine how that could, unattended or staying unaware of how you're kind of manipulating your being just to fit in, understanding that creates a drama within, but it could also show up in your external world. And so pulling away, knowing your true self, and as much as possible living from that. There's a very simple path to this. And then I got slowing down. And this is, we love it when the tortoise shows up. It's kind of often for us, almost as much as suppression lately. But we had a period a few months back where the tortoise was showing up a lot. And this is just a matter of, knowing like the true full expression of who you are is indicated in the rainbow that this tortoise is moving toward. But if you see, his foot is planted directly under him, and he's got little sparkles around him in his current state too. So he's going toward more of himself, but he's already kind of shining and sparkling because he took the time to, tone down, be not tone down, but slow down, be in the fullest sense of who you are, and then moving toward more expansion, more expression. And then along the journey, be sure to acknowledge your higher self. Like we said, no one else is going to take your path with you, but your higher self is, and probably guiding you. This is another intuitive energy, if you see that third eye there. So it goes with that wisdom of the owl in that card. And then the final card I got is Freedom Horse. This is the epitome of your full expression. This is that ease that you get to feel when you're not hiding or compartmentalizing, yourself. Now, let me just back up. There are moments when that's called for, like we said, and sometimes in a professional setting, sometimes in big family drama where you've tried and tried to interject your voice and it's just kind of drowned out by all the drama.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not to say overpower people with your
Mm-hmm.
transparency and honesty and authenticity, but to just be in touch with it within and know it, and then just move easily from that space, because it can't be that I'm blasting out to the world exactly who I am and too bad what you care, right? It's more affirming it within yourself and making sure there's enough space expanded within your being that holds that for you. And then you move about in the world in your full version of who you are. So I like this. There's an opening up kind of a vibe to it, and
Which is aligned with our soul challenge this month.
It goes with that.
The opening up.
Yeah.
And I love what you brought in just now about affirmation. And it's just, just to continue that practice of self-affirmation. I'm on the right path. I can trust slowing down. I can trust the guidance that's coming through, and just to continue to affirm in supportive ways as we move through whatever each one of us is moving through.
Whatever it is. We talk about that acceptance, and people in our external world who are in full acceptance of who we are. That couldn't really happen if you weren't already, if part of you, at least a facet of you, was in full acceptance. And maybe you don't let it come to the forefront, but accepting yourself first, and like we said, affirm, get that shored up within you, and then it kind of just emanates out from there. Yes.
Thank you so much. Have a beautiful day, beautiful week.